everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. Go to Game 7 Baseball. You know what? I'm going to give the old plug down there to your folks in the neck of the woods, the St. Genevieve group, the St. Gen River Dogs that runs some Game 7 tournaments down there. They got some pretty nice facilities. You've been over there, haven't you, Coach?
Yeah, yes, sir. I've been there many times, and they do have nice facilities.
Absolutely. So Game7Baseball.com, you go on there and search. You can filter through and check out the St. Gen River Dog tournaments. And if you're in that neck of the woods, get over there and get yourself into one of those. I think they still got some spots available open in those tournaments. Or if you want to come up to the Metro St. Louis area, Illinois, Edwardsville, you can even truck on over to Tennessee if you're so inclined. Head down to Ballparks of America. A lot of great stuff going on here. Game7Baseball.com. Today on the show, joining us via our Prime Sports Midwest call link is the head coach, Jackson Indians, Josh Roach. Coach, thanks for joining us, man.
Brian, thank you very much. I appreciate you allowing me to talk to you guys. It's always a good time, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'll tell you, man, you folks were some of the most hospitable folks we've ever encountered when we came down there last year to your house. Opened up everything. Your wife was so great. We appreciate everybody. It's so cool. That's what I like about the high school. Here you are. The community is there. You guys do a great job. Your facilities are fantastic. Got a nice stadium. That's a lot of people don't have that kind of stuff. So you get a lot of community support, don't you, Coach?
Yeah, our community, in my opinion, is really second to none with the level of support they give. Not just baseball, but pretty much every athletic program. They are diehard Jackson sports fan, and they come out and support. They're not afraid to support, so it's exciting. It's always a good time.
And that takes a lot because a lot of those folks, they don't have kids in the school, and it just depends on what level there are. And when we went down there, of course, Kevin Mulder always says it's his favorite place to come watch a ball game.
Well, yes, Kevin was down at our in Cape with us last night, or with one of our travel teams doing a PBR event, and he was saying that same thing, and he goes he really enjoys watching a high school game at our stadium, and that's pretty cool. So
yeah. Absolutely. Coach, last year you guys were 6-0 in the S.E.M.O conference. You won the tournament as well. You finished 25-8. You lost to Fox in the semis.
Yes.
I'm going to give folks a little history though. Here's a little history though. You guys got 5 district titles since 2009. That was in 10, 15, 16, 18, and 25. Or not 25, I think it was 23.
23.
Excuse me. Yep, 23. Yes. That's a little fat finger right there by myself. That was also you guys finished 3rd in state. You've had 20 plus wins since 2015. You had a record 34 wins in 2023.
Yes.
What's been the secret sauce, Coach?
Well, first of all, I have to brag on our kids. We have kids that are committed, that are willing to do what is required to chase that goal of being excellent. And we have community support, like we've already talked about. We have support of our school district. We have a really good feeder program down here that we get them early in the system and try and teach them the ways of Jackson baseball early, and put them in competitive environments early. So by the time they get to us, hopefully, they're already pretty well-rounded and understand what it takes to compete at a really high level.
Talk to us a little bit because I know we were down in Springfield and we saw that with Willard, we saw that with Nixa, and some of the places that are outside the Metro St. Louis area, that's a big piece of the puzzle there. You guys have an elementary, middle school program, the Jackson Tribe, that does a lot with these kids, correct?
Yes, it's been going for about 10 years now, and actually the 2023 class was our basically the first tribe teams that they put together. So the fruits of our labors were definitely evident that year, and we uh, we get them into baseball usually about 7 years old is when they start their tribe teams, and we try to connect as much as possible with the high school program, and just so those kids have that, we want to build that excitement about, hey, one day hopefully I can play on that big high school field and represent, Jackson High School and our community, and we push that community pride and just the it's kind of, we try to make it's kind of a big deal to be able to step out on that stadium and represent your town and school. So it does a good job of that.
Absolutely. Coach, you guys now, student wise, you're not one of the bigger class six schools, are you?
No, we are not. We're probably middle of the road, I would say. We are growing a lot. The school, I mean, we're running. It feels like we don't have any space at all left. So we are growing, but compared to some of the other Class Six schools, I would say we're probably middle of the road in
Okay.
in size.
So how many kids do you usually get out for tryouts? Like what's coming up this season?
We carry a lot of kids come out to try out. We'll probably have around 60 kids come try out, keeping around probably 50 to 55. So the numbers are good. The numbers are usually always big every year, and the baseball's a big deal around here, and there's a lot of people that get real excited about it. So every time I see those numbers, it gets me excited, but it also, a little nervous to see how it all going to line out, but it all works out at the end. So
I want to talk a little bit about, the S.E.M.O conference, and we've had some chats about this. You have such a mix of schools class wise in the S.E.M.O conference. It's and to me that's a very interesting one that, I think you're the only class six school in it. Am I correct?
yes, well, Bluff is in it as well, and they kind of
Bluff.
fluctuate back and forth. Yeah. So sometimes they'll be class six, sometimes they'll be class five, but usually they're class six in baseball. They have been recently. So
Yeah.
they're also in our district. So, or they have been in the past as long as they haven't switched classes. But
Right. And
the other schools are smaller. Yes.
the and I think, but Cape Central, right, is in your,
Yes.
and they're a class five school. So, I mean, it's
Yes.
not, and then you go down to like class two and three, and then there's four.
Yes.
So it's really an interesting mix. How does that help? How does that, you know, make for some scheduling, I guess, difficulties? Yeah.
Of course, it's we. I mean, the SEMO conference has been around forever. We're proud to be a part of it.
Hmm.
We have grown to the size we are now, and the skill level of our kids in our program is grown quite a bit, and we've kind of passed up a lot of those other schools. A lot of it's just because how big we are, but um, scheduling wise, it's not too bad in the scheduling wise because we're not terribly far apart. um, it does get a little challenging sometimes because a lot of our season we try to travel elsewhere to play those bigger schools, and throughout the week we usually knock out our conference games, so we could get run to some busy weeks as we're going to St. Louis and then coming back here or going down to Kennett, and we're not afraid to ride on a bus. We're very very comfortable with that. So
Gonna have to be right.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're right there on an interstate, so that does help a little bit, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. It makes it a little easier. So,
Uh, Man, some notable losses for you coming in. One just right off the bat, Mr. Sauer off to Tulane, and but not to mention Aiden Shaver, Carson McDaniel, Garcia, Adrian Fox, Garrison Brown. You lost 10
yes.
seniors, coach, and you're going to
Yes.
you got really young really fast. Um,
Yes, we did.
I want, you got a couple of dudes though in Cooper Rhodes and Peyton Kite that have been with your program for quite some time. Cooper Rhodes heading to Evansville, Kite heading to Bradley. Do you talk to them about that expectation level of leadership coming into a season like this?
Yes, we do actually. We have a what I call a leadership council, and it's a voted on thing by the players, returning varsity players. They vote on who they think show the leadership. I kind of give them an outline of, hey, what this is what we're looking for, and you vote on the guys that you think fit that bill. And Peyton Kite and Cooper Rhodes are both in that leadership council, so they've stepped into that role along with three other of our players, um, and are doing a really good job. So the younger guys are looking up to them, and they help me quite a bit with kind of if there could be an issue going on or something that I need to be aware of, they can address it first, and it means a lot more coming from one of their teammates a lot of times than hearing it from me or one of my assistant coaches because we're always on them about everything. So it's they Cooper and Peyton along with Lance Wilson, and I got a couple of juniors in there, Drew Parsons and Adler Flynn, that make up our leadership council. They're a solid group of young men, and they've led us well so far.
Very good. Yeah, you got to tell somebody sometimes, it come from the dudes, hey, quit being a knucklehead.
I, yes, yes,
If you hear from coach, it's like, man, does coach not like me?
yes, I've had that before. Yes,
Oh, mercy. Uh, you know, we've seen Cooper Rhodes for the last 3 years, Peyton Kite. These two guys have been catalysts. But I want to start on the mound for you, coach, and looking at
yes.
the impact there. Um, where do you start in replacing some of the arms that you lost last year?
Well, we were blessed last year. Well, we had a lot of arms. We had a lot of quality arms. Also, we had John Paul, who was one of the best in the state, phenomenal pitcher and just human being. But
Mm.
along with the rest of them, we had a
Yeah.
lot of quality arms, good kids that worked really hard and did a great job for us last year. Brinson Garcia comes to mind last year. I remember as a junior, actually, he came to me and almost wanted to hang it up. He was like, "Coach, I don't think I want to play anymore." And we had that conversation. He stuck around, and I was so proud of him last year because he had such a successful senior year. But yeah, I mean, you can't really replace those guys. But we are blessed with a lot of young arms that I'm excited about. We have two juniors and Drew Parsons, who I'm sure you know about. Drew Parsons, he's our quarterback here at Jackson, but is committed to go to S.E.M.O after he graduates as a senior, and he's pretty darn good, and we're excited about. He'll be. I don't know if I mean right now I would say he's our number one, but it's probably going to fluctuate back and forth between him and Carter Shipman, who's kind of a guy that's flying under the radar for us. He was up with varsity level last year, did get some innings, um, but's got the potential to be just a dominant force on the mound. Really excited to kind of see him just kind of flourish this season and kind of just burst onto the scene because he's got some really good stuff. And then we have a sophomore that I think is going to have a really big impact for us. His name is Grant Brown. He was with us a little bit last year at the varsity level. Didn't get a ton of playing time, but he's a two-way guy, swings it real well, but also throws the fire out of it on the mound. He was he was exciting. He was at that PBR event last night, and I heard he was 87, 88 off the mound. I was like, all right, I love to hear that.
Absolutely.
Yes, but we have a lot of arms again. I got a senior Cole Cable who's a lefty who did throw for us last year, uh, and is one of those guys. He's not going to throw it by you, but his stuff is really really good when he's able to command it, and that's what we our conversations have been in this as we ramp up the season. Like, hey, we got to command it. We got to get it close to the zone, and if you do that, you're going to get a lot of guys out. So I'm anticipating he's going to have a really good season as well, and along with a bunch of other juniors and a few sophomores as well. We should be just fine on the mound. I think we're going to be real strong actually on the mound.
Very good. Very good. Coach, defensively, um, that's you got these guys, you're talking about that. Who's that guy that's going to be behind the plate that's going to be able to handle this kind of pitching staff?
Well, Drew Parsons is going to be catching when he's not pitching. So he'll be the main guy behind the plate whenever he's not pitching. But then after when he is pitching, we have some younger guys that I think are going to step up into that role. I'm not sure who's going to take that role yet, but we have also Carter Shipman, who's probably our number two right now, also catches and does a really good job. And we could throw him back there and he'll do a fine job. But probably going to see what those younger guys can do, who can step up and maybe sneak some varsity time behind the plate in that role when Drew's not pitching. So it's going to be kind of exciting to see who steps into that role.
That's always an interesting thing. If you can get a sophomore that can take some of the weight there and get that experience, I mean that only makes a huge impact for you moving forward, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, anytime they can get that varsity experience, the earlier the better, because
Yeah.
then they get that nervousness out of the way, that those jitters out of the way, and the belief that they can compete at that level. I think that's a big one. They're sometimes unsure of like, I don't know if I can actually do this, and you get them a little taste of it, and they see like, hey, I can do this, and then it's that confidence starts to kick in, and if you can have that for 2 or 3 years, I mean, that's just gonna make it even better for you. So,
Absolutely. So up the middle there, short, second, center field. What are we going to be seeing there, Coach?
well, actually, we got a little mix in the middle of the infield here. We're gonna our plan is to bring in Cooper Rhodes. He's been playing outfield for us, but
Yeah.
he does a lot of infield. He plays a lot of second base in the summer. We're gonna put him at shortstop. I think he's gonna do a fine job. He's obviously a leader of our team, and the guys respect him. He's a heck of an athlete, and I'm sure he's gonna do just fine there. Second base is going to be a competition. We got several guys going for it, all very talented, and I'm excited to see who steps up and wins that job. It's going to be fun to watch this next 14 days after we get rolling next week to see who steps into that role, and it may change throughout the season. But we have we're blessed with several guys that can play that position and do a good job. Center field, we're going to start the season with Peyton Kite out there, and I think Peyton Kite's going to do a phenomenal job. He's fast. He's going to have great range. He's got a big time arm, so he's going to lock down center field for us.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. There's not too many teams that put Division I players in those critical roles, and when you
Yes.
got that kind of talent first and foremost, and then you got good quality character guys, that makes a huge impact.
Well, that's our motto this year is we over me, and that came from Cooper Rhodes in our leadership council. He was like, we got to put the team before ourselves, and that's one of the first team meetings when we have next week. That's going to be the topic of what that looks like and how we're going to accomplish that. But that's the mindset that they have. They do have that mindset of our leaders do. And if we can do that consistently throughout the season, they're going to be a tough team. So
That's huge. When you're talking about if you've got your leadership bringing that, I love that thought process. That's where those younger guys really got to understand where the leadership's coming from and buy in and getting everybody on that same page. It's not as easy as people think it is it?
oh no, it is not because all those young men are talented, they're competitive, and each and every one of them want to be in that on that field with making an impact. And that's the conversations we have with them. We know that you all want to be out there, and I want them to be out there.
Mm.
And just whatever role that they start in doesn't mean that they're going to finish in that role. But whatever role you do have, your job is to do that role, with all your heart and give everything you got to the team to help us get to where we want to go. And that's not always easy. And some kids it takes a while to buy in, and some kids don't ever really buy in.
Yeah.
But that's what we preach, and that's what we hope to get out of our guys.
Offensively, coach, I got to give a shout out to your boy Bogenpole, who is
Oh
my
yes.
goodness, he's just tearing it up, isn't he?
Oh, he's such a fun kid to watch. He's so talented, and like we were just talking about, he's one of those kids that he's easy to root for because he's a good kid, and he was one of those uh, selfless teammates that would do whatever he needed to do to help the team out. He would do extra. He would, if guys were running at the end because grades were low, he would stay and run with them. Like he was just one of those guys. And the success he's having, I mean, I'm not really surprised just because of the talent level that he has and just the kind of kid he is.
Mm.
Or young man, he's not a kid anymore, he's a young man now. But uh, but he is fun to watch, and I just hope that he can go as far as he can go. It's going to be fun to watch. So
So, that being said, do you have another Bogenpole in your lineup there, coach?
well, it's pretty hard to replace that young man, but we do have some guys that can swing it, and we're blessed to have a hit tracks in our indoor cages at our junior high is where we do a lot of our indoor work. And our hit tracks is obviously fun for the kids, and they get to see the numbers and all that. And it's been pretty impressive. We got some young men that are working really hard. They've been working in the weight room really hard through pretty much all year round, and we have seen the results of that. It's they're hitting the ball very extremely hard. Now it's obviously a little different machine coming in, always same speed, same spot, but they're getting stronger. They're making good hard contact, and we're gonna have we're gonna have some guys that swing the bat really well. So we're excited about that.
I think it's interesting when you look across the state, across the landscape of baseball, especially in Missouri. That's one of the things I hear from coaches is the kids really buying in, being in the weight room, getting bigger, stronger. You can't make yourself taller or anything like that, but you can definitely make yourself stronger. And that is a huge
Yes.
impact. Just being more physical on the diamond can translate to making plays that you may not have been able to do before, correct?
Oh, of course, and that's something that as a program we've done for a long time. The weight room has been a really important part of our program, and our whole athletic department at Jackson, being in the weight room, if you're an athlete, it's a non-negotiable. Like it's a must. You have to do it. And our baseball guys have been. We have a lot of baseball and football guys, so some of the football, some of them lift with us, but everybody's lifting and
Mhm.
everybody's getting stronger, and it's makes a huge impact on just the your performance on the field for sure.
Well, I'm gonna ask you about some of these names here offensively, but there's one we saw at the recent PBR event that was here in Wentzville, a
Yes.
Dawson F-Tink, I believe, if
Yes,
I'm pronouncing that correctly.
that is
Um,
correct.
Showed very well, pretty good off the bat there. Where do you? I mean, that's a sophomore, so I don't know. If that's an op. Where are you seeing some of these sophomores maybe getting some opportunities?
Well, Dawson is definitely a name on the radar. Just the numbers that he's putting up in the cages, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Triple digits consistently, and that's not easy to do. That's not easy to do. So he's swinging the fire out of the bat right now, and my hope for him is we can translate that power on in game situations. I've had the pleasure of being around him now for a year and a half, and he's a good kid, works really hard, loves the game of baseball. Is he and his dad, they're very similar. They sleep and eat baseball, and I love it. Um, but he's got a shot to be really good, and I'm excited to see what he does and see what he does with the opportunities that he's given. So he's definitely on our radar, and we feel like that he's got a chance to help us out quite a bit. Um, sophomores, Grant Brown, which I talked about before,
Hmm.
uh, from the mound for sure, but he's another guy at the plate that's been consistently triple digits, very similar to Dawson. And he's from the right side. Dawson's from the left. Both have a lot of power. Um, the only thing now is just got to see them do that in game situations and pressure situations. And with experience, I have no doubt that they're both going to be able to do that at a really high level. So I'm excited about those two for sure at the sophomore level.
Wow, very good. You got the guys. Do you have the depth? Do you think you got the depth in your lineup that you need this year? I mean, you're evidently there's some holes to fill, but are you going to be able to get that depth into that 7-8 hole?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident with that this year. As offensively, I do believe that we're going to be more balanced than we were last year, and more consistent than we were last year. Last year, we there were times when we would look all world at the plate and beat anybody, and then other times it was just like a desert. Like what happened? And it was just a little inconsistent. And unfortunately, that's kind of what happened to us in that Fox game at Districts. That we just kind of went cold, and Fox played. They played really well and tipped their hat to them. They did a good job and knocked us off. But I think we're gonna have a very well balanced lineup with some guys that can drive it out of the ballpark if we need it, guys that can hit gaps, and also have guys that handle the bat where we can lay down some bunts, play a little small ball with some speed. So we should be all right at the plate.
Very good. Well, and that's the thing. Oh my goodness, because that district coming back with Lindbergh, Seckman, Oakville, Fox. You guys are in that, and I know I'm leaving a couple teams out. It's a ridiculous district, Coach. I mean,
Yes,
you come out of that district, you've done something, haven't you?
it is. It's always a tough district to get out of, and you're right. If you win it, you've earned it because there's some good teams in it. I know we have Oakville's going to have some big time arms that we're going to have to get through. Seckman's going to be good again. Lindbergh's going to be a little young, I think, but they got
Mhm.
some kids that can play. Um, the others, Bluff and Melville and Northwest. We'll see what they bring to the table this year. But it's going to be. It always is. It's always going to be a tough one. But we're excited to get back there and give redeem ourselves a little bit. We felt like we had a team to win it and fell a little short. So
Yeah. And once you get through that, and I think this is where the depth of pitching, and to kind of finish up here, depth, especially at pitching, now, and I love this, you get through your district, now you got to go in the quarters. I love this best 2 out of 3.
Yes, yes. That is something that our coaching, we were just talking about actually, and I do love that because it is it's gonna be hard, and it should be. If you get to that point, it should be difficult, and you're gonna find out who the best team actually is because you have to have depth. If you get to the quarterfinal and you got to beat a team twice, and you do that, then you've earned it and you deserve to go to the state tournament. So it's going to be cool. I'm glad they made that change. That was a good change.
Absolutely. I do. I'm excited about this season. Looking across, from where you guys are all the way up through here to the west, down to the southwest. I mean, there is talent everywhere, and it's going to be a heck of a good season.
Yes, sir. We're excited. I can't wait until Monday and we get this rolling. It's been a really good off season, but I'm ready for the season to start. So our guys are too. It's going to be good.
Folks, Jackson head coach, the Indians, Josh Roach. Coach, as always, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Brian, I appreciate you and allowing me to come on here and brag about our boys. It's always a good time. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Folks, thanks for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, take a moment. Please hit the like button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Down there also is a subscribe button if you're interested in subscribing, watching more shows. Next to it's a dinger. We call it a dinger. It isn't a home run, but it sure does get you notifications for upcoming episodes just like this. You get to listen to fantastic coaches like Coach Roach here brag on his boys. I love that.
I like doing that. That's one of my favorite things. So,
and he's got some fellas to brag about there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So again, thanks for tuning in. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, throw some strikes, and hitters, coach, you got to give the hitters some advice.
Well, swing at strikes and hit the ball hard.
Keep it simple. There you go.
That's right. That's right.
We'll see y'all next time.
Hey, hey, hey.